Okay, so these are the cards that we are going to be making tonight. Doing a couple of fall theme cards. I was just really in the mood. I can't believe that it is already July 31st. I mean, I don't even know where the time is going. So anyway, we were doing Christmas in July, and I was gonna finish off July with a Christmas card, but for some reason when I woke up this morning, I just really wanted to make some fall projects. So here they are. I was going to use the Hello Harvest paper, and then all of a sudden I just started gravitating towards the specialty paper. So sometimes when we're designing cards, it just starts to go in a different direction, right? So anyway, here's what we're going to be making tonight. We're going to be using two different products. We're going to be using Hello Harvest. Well, actually, let me scratch that. We're going to be using Hello Harvest. We're also going to be using the Grassy Grove dies. So the Grassy Grove bundle, but we're going to be using the dies. And I did borrow Beauty of Friendship. Now, I already did a fall card with this stamp set. I use this stamp set a lot. You guys know that. But it has this really nice, large, flush sort of tree design stamp on it. And I wanted to use it for stamping this tonight. Now, you could do this a couple of different ways or with a couple of different stamp sets. We're going to do the baby wipe technique, but I don't actually have baby wipes here. So I'm going to use paper towels instead, and I'll show you guys how that works. It's definitely not as good as the baby wipes, I'll tell you that, but it's okay. We'll get through it. So, yes, let me just go ahead and show you a couple of the products here. So on page 48 and 49 of the mini catalog here, you can see we have the Rustic Harvest Suite. So from the suite, what I'm going to be using tonight are the Hello Harvest stamp set. I'm going to be using the Leaf Label and Amber Gem combo pack. So I'm going to use both of these tonight. And then I think that's it. I decided not to use the paper today. I am going to be using my embossing buddy, but I don't have this little bundle yet. But if you do, I cannot wait to get that. That looks like so much fun. It's just telling us we need to start heat embossing for fall. And then I'm going to skip back here to page 83 where the specialty paper is. And you see this metallic and shimmer 6x6 paper. We're going to use a couple of sheets of that. So with my sample card, and I didn't realize my window was crooked, you guys, but just a little bit. So here, this is that specialty piece. So this was in the orange and like the Cajun craze and pumpkin pie. And I'm going to do a different version. I'll do the green and the gold tonight, and we'll see how they look. But then we're going to use this gigantic die from Grassy Grove, and I'm going to cut the dies. So let me just warn you guys ahead of time. I am going to be doing some die cutting tonight, just because I didn't get a chance to pre-cut everything. But we're going to kind of color these fall leaves. But you can see we used that leaf label here, and we have our little amber gems here. And then I also have the amber gems here. So we can go ahead and get into it. But both of these sentiments are from Hello Harvest. I think that this stamp set is gorgeous. And you guys can let me know if you have it or what you think of it. But we're going to be using You Are Such a Blessing and Hello. But we're also going to be using this leaf. So let me show you the inside of the card. So here, I just stamped, this is a very vanilla card base, so I just stamped this in Cajun Craze. And then on this one, because we have a dark base, because we have the Cajun Craze as the base, I did an insert panel, and then I have it just kind of half of the leaves in Pumpkin Pie and Cajun Craze. I just think that the stamp set is gorgeous. So we're going to combine that Hello Harvest with our Grassy Grove and our deer. I don't know if you guys saw my post earlier today, but there's a little family of deer like living right outside of my house. They're right across the street, and then they come over here and they graze. So it inspired me. I was like, I have to get Grassy Grove out and use the deer because it's so cute. And I have the post is on my page if you guys haven't seen it, but they're the cutest little family. It's these two little fawns and the mom, and they're out grazing and walking around every day. The neighbors see them, I see them. So we go real slow when we're driving down the street, but they are just the cutest. We're basically going to create an ink pad. You would use your baby wipes. That's why they call it the baby wipe technique. And you guys have probably seen it. It's very popular when we start making fall cards. But I ran out of baby wipes. I have to get more. So that'll be on my to-do list with just about everything else. I'm going to use some re-inkers tonight to do this little baby wipe technique. But let me kind of go through everything. And I don't think I introduced myself, so let me do that too, just in case it's your first time here. My name's Melinda Hart. I am an independent demonstrator with Stampin Up. And if you're interested in looking up projects and things like that, you can either check them out here on Facebook. I also have a blog, stampingwithhart.blogspot.com. Okay, so our color combo for the baby wipe technique is going to be Cajun Craze, pumpkin pie, old olive, and crushed curry. I do about like 3 to 5 drops, just depending on how wide you want it to be. But I'll just start with Cajun Craze, and you guys can see the ink stains on my hand, so I got messy for sure. I will probably have fingerprints by the end of this, but this is such a fun technique to do at this time of year, especially as we're getting ready for this. And you guys may have Beauty of Friendship at home, or you may have Grassy Grove at home. If you have any tree stamp sets, you can have a lot of fun with this. So we got about 5 of those. Now I'm going to bring in pumpkin pie, and I'm just going to start going kind of in between the drops. And you don't have to have like any certain like rhyme or reason. I'm just trying to kind of create a circle, basically, just enough that my stamp can like fit into it. So here is Old Olive, and you can always go back and add more or change it, just depending on if you feel like you need to. Old Olive was what I got really messy. I'm going to have to clean that after. I'm going to have to clean that after the live. And then we'll do crushed curry next. And you can see these start to like spread out pretty quickly. And then I'm just going to kind of go outside a little bit more with crushed curry, so a lot more drops for that one. And then let's just take a look and see how this looks. You can add as many colors as you want, whatever your favorite fall colors are. I love this color combo. We're also going to be using our blending brushes tonight to kind of help with any white spots that we have left over. This is what the die looks like. It's really big. I don't know. This was actually, the Grassy Grove bundle actually debuted in the spring catalog or the mini catalog January to June, but it did carry over. So you can still get this. I think this is one of the most gorgeous dies. So I'm just going to set this down kind of right in the center. We're going to have like a border around the edge because this is a die that cuts in. It doesn't cut out. So if you want to make that the whole card front, you can do that. That would be really pretty. And I'm just going to run that through. I should probably run it through a second time just because I didn't pop out all the pieces. Okay. And let's take a look and see how I did. Pretty good. We did pretty good. And you can see this piece comes out nice and easy. Okay, so I'm just going to set that aside. With this trio of trees, you just turn it upside down and you just stamp it all over in whatever colors you want. And I can link to that in the replay or post a replay of that, like a little throwback video. But tonight I'm going to use this one. So I'm going to use the larger stamp from the Beauty of Friendship, but you can use whatever tree stamp that you have. You basically just want the pattern that you can put down on your trees. And then let me just see. I'm just going to push this in. Now this is definitely, because I made this damp, you can see that water kind of spreading around there. So that's one difference from the baby wipe. But we're just going to take that color and we're just gonna start stamping it down. And you can see how it creates that pattern. And we're just gonna do this all across the top, like where the tree foliage is. And it doesn't really get muddy. Like, it's still that blend of colors there, but you can see like up here, it's a little bit light. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna fill in the trunks first and we'll kind of build up this color. We're gonna fill in some color down here. Now you could repeat that same exact thing. There is a grass stamp. I have the Grassy Grove stamp set right around here somewhere. I'll show you the images in a couple minutes, but you can do the grass version all along the bottom. And I do have a video showing that because I love this bundle. But I'm going to use the blending brushes for this round. So that's basically how the baby wipe techniques works. You would want to do 2 of these, 2, so that you have enough for both cards, like both scenes. I forgot to tell you that I'm using the Window Wishes bundle too. I'm using the dies. So I really should have made a list ahead of time. I'll make sure that I get all the products up on the blog tomorrow. But let me go ahead and bring in the trees. So I'm going to use Early Espresso ink. So here's the ink pads we're going to be using. I'm using Early Espresso for our trees. And then I'm just going to rub this in and get some color here. This is like one of the most fun things to do, I think, when you're working on these nature scenes. So I'm just dabbing off, and then I'm just going to start blending right over the tree trunks. It's okay to get messy with it. I wouldn't go too crazy, you know, try to stay on the tree trunks, but it's okay if you're overlapping some color. I think it looks fine. If you want to get really careful with it, you could do masking. And then I'm going to kind of go slightly down into the line here, but I am going to color that green because we are going to use the entire panel on this. Okay, so here we're just making sure that we're kind of getting those tree trunks. I think that actually looks really good. And then you could go, you know, as light or as dark as you want with that. So you guys can kind of see that coming together there. And then we're going to switch our blending brush now. So I'm getting the one that has my Old Olive on it. And we're going to switch to Old Olive. Okay, and then same exact thing. I'm just kind of rubbing in the tip. I'm going to dab off. And then I'm going to start coming around here and just sort of framing it in. So just kind of bringing in that color. I'm trying, by dabbing off, I'm trying not to get that harsh, that little mark that you see there. I'm trying to avoid getting that on this piece. And then we're just going to work our way around. You guys have to let me know in the comments if you enjoy blending, like ink blending. These blending brushes, let me know what you think of those in the comments. It really took me a minute to get used to working with these, but once I did, I really do enjoy them. I really do like them now. Okay, and then we're going to kind of bring it up around the other side. Now, if you want to go down all the way down this side with your foliage, you could do that too. I'm going to start bringing in some green here. And I'm just going to kind of go right up into that tree line here, just on the edge. And just basically with like the leftover ink. So I'm not doing full green here, just like nice and light. And then up here around the top, I want a little bit more of that reddish, like amber color. So I'm going to switch to Cajun Craze now. But Cajun Craze is a really deep color, so you do not need a lot of it. The reason why you're seeing so much on here is because of this leaf. So we're going to, like here, I did go intense with the color. But on this one, we're going to go real light. So just going to dab in and get a little bit of color there. And I'm going to try to get that deep part off, that deep color off, and just go nice and light, just right at the top. And it just makes it look like soft. You're not messing with the colors really, but you're just kind of filling that in. Okay. And then that is your fall scene. Is that gorgeous? Oh, and it doesn't even take that long. I love this die. I hope we keep it for a while. Let me just say, I hope it sticks around for a while. Okay, so we're going to use Occasion Craze card base, and then this is going to be that standard size, the 5.5 by 8.5 and scored at 4 1/4. And then this is going to layer here. But as you guys can see on this card, can you guys see that that's the glimmer paper? So this is actually the 2022-2024 in color glimmer paper in Starry Sky. And I just couldn't resist using it. I think they're absolutely perfect for background settings because that ombre look just gives it this really beautiful, I mean, a literal starry sky look. Okay, so let me get a sheet of that. And just to show you the difference in the colors, okay, so here is Starry Sky. Now, I have a big, gigantic studio light that is kind of making it look a little bit lighter than it is in real life. And then this one is Orchid Oasis. So just so you can see the difference, if you want like a daytime look, I think this one's really pretty, or maybe like dusk. And then this is a little bit more like going into the evening. Okay, so we're going to do a layer of this. And here it is. I set my paper trimmer in like 15 different places throughout the live, and I'm always misplacing it. So I'm going to set this up out of the way for a minute. And we're going to trim this so that we have our layer. And I'm basically going to trim it to the same size. You can trim it slightly smaller if you want to, like if you really don't want it to peek out. But I am going to set this up on the foam strips. So I'm just going to cut it to the same size. So I'm going to cut it to 4 by 5 1/4 again. And you guys can see, I don't know if you can see that or not, but the lightest part is down here, and then it gets darker as we go up. Okay, so what I'm going to do is go to 5 1/4. I'm going to trim off that lighter piece, and we could always save that for another card. Save these because they're beautiful. Oh, no, you know what I was supposed to do? I was supposed to trim that to 4. So bear with me. Okay. So 4. And then 5 1/4. Okay. And then, now that I'm looking at it, I'm wondering if I actually left the lighter piece on, but we'll find out. Okay, so as we build this up, let me put this in here. Beautiful night sky. Yeah, you know what? This is deeper. So what I had done was I actually cut off the darker part and left the lighter part. So I thought I did the exact opposite. So at least now we know. But this is still beautiful night scene. Our deer are still going to show up nicely in here. So we're going to die cut 2 deer. And then we're going to create our little banner piece here. And then we'll put everything together. So this was the piece that I used. This is very slightly under 1 inch, just because they slide in better to the banner's pick-a-punch when it's just a hair under the size. So I would just cut it really light under the inch mark, and then it will be by 3 inches. And I'll stamp that again so that we'll stamp it on the other side, so that we can just kind of recreate that. But let's cut our 2 deer. We're going to cut those in early espresso cardstock. I'm going to kind of stamp in a little bit. And let me stamp it one more time. I like this one, but let me stamp it one more time. Okay. All right, and then let me go ahead and get my trimmer And let me get my banner Pick-a-Punch. I'm going to use the one that looks like the end of a ribbon. And I'm going to feed this in, and I'm just going to flip it over to the back because I like to just make sure that it's straight. And then we're just going to pop that out, and then I'm just going to trim the edge here. So it should hit like right around the 3-inch mark here. Okay, so I am going to switch over into voiceover mode now. As I finish up card number 1, I'm going to speed up the section for card number 2. So let me just say before I really get into this, that if you want to see the full replay where I explain everything is happening, you know, real time, then I leave all of those replays on my Facebook business page, which is also called Stamping with Hart. That's where you can find me all across social media, is at Stamping with Hart, H-A-R-T. So those replays remain on that page if you would like to see the full, the full replay. But I am going to speed up this portion because it's just, there are some things it's okay to move a little more quickly. So I am using the foam strips. These are the adhesive foam strips, and I typically use those for shaker cards. And I think that these cards have potential to be fantastic shaker cards. But I did not do that in this case, but I did want to mention that. So I just really wanted some dimension between my forest, the sky, and the deer. Now, when I made that mistake with the glimmer paper and it came out really dark, that starry sky came out very dark like that, I wish I would have cut that deer in a slightly lighter color, like crumb cake or soft suede. So just something to keep in mind, that if you really do want that night sky, which it's gorgeous because it really helps those fall leaves pop, you know, just like kind of really in fall when we have those overcast days and all of those colors become so vibrant. That's what this card reminds me of. So it was a happy accident in that way, but I did think that the deer were too dark for that night sky. And you guys can let me know your opinion on that. But if I could go back and do it again, I would have changed the cardstock shade on those deer. But the first card has the correct ombre, which means just cut the darker edge off and not the lighter edge, which was what I had done. So this is finishing up card number 1, and now we're going to go into card number 2. I just cannot say enough about this specialty paper. This confetti style specialty paper, the technical name of it is called the Metallic and Shimmer 6x6 specialty paper, and you're going to get that in 3 different color combinations. It's gorgeous. I mean, I feel like even on video, it's not doing it any justice. It is so beautiful. If you get a chance to order that or use that with any of your holiday projects, I can't recommend it enough. I just personally really love that paper. I think it's so unique. And it really looks like those are embellishments, like jumping right off of your card. So this second card, I used the Window Wishes bundle. I'm going to be using this again and again and again. This is going to be one of my staple bundles throughout the entire holiday season. But instead of cutting the inner details of the window frame, I decided to just do the outer window frame. And we're going to do this in 2 passes. Now, on my Facebook Live, when I'm doing interactive lives, I will ask people their opinions and vote on colors and things like that. So I asked, did you want me to use the, the orange and red color again, or did you want me to use the evening evergreen and gold? And they wanted to see what it looked like in green and gold. So I'm doing the second card in that color option, and I think that they both turned out gorgeous. So entirely up to you as to which one you want to use. Now, we're going to do this in 2 passes. I had actually accidentally forgotten to take out my die before I started running that through, and it got stuck. Oh, you guys. But what we're going to do is we're going to do 2 passes with this outer window frame. The first pass is here, and the second pass is going to be to cut the very vanilla window frame. So we want to cut out that initial frame from the specialty paper, and then we want to cut the frame itself in the color that we want. so that we can tuck it into that piece in the specialty paper. So the concept here, again, I think this would be a fantastic shaker card idea. And that is the Timber 3D embossing folder. I just wanted to add some texture to my window frame, and totally optional. And I also wanted a brighter window frame so that it would stand out against the fall scene in the background. I did initially try this card with darker window frames. Like I think I had cut Early Espresso, and I think I also cut Cajun Craze, and I didn't like either one of them. That was like when I was in the design phase. So with this card, I thought I wanted to do a little bit more of like a daytime look, but I still wanted to use that specialty paper. So this paper, again, is from the 2022-2024 In Color Glimmer paper pack, but this is Orchid Oasis, and I wanted that lighter ombre color to be at the top. And I'm putting it center in the card. We're going to layer this fall scene right over top of it. And what I was saying with that Grassy Grove bundle, when you're creating these fall scenes, if you make window cards like this, you can actually cut that Grassy Grove die scene that I'm just coloring in now. You can cut that in half, just like you see there, and you can actually get 2 cards out of it. You might even be able to get more than that, depending on what you're putting in your window scene. But I just think that that is such a useful die for the season. And again, you could do that summer, spring, winter, or fall. So definitely something to keep in mind there. Now, I wanted to pop this up on those foam adhesive strips again. I find that the foam adhesive strips are just easier to use sometimes, especially if you want that dimension between your window and your scene. So it's not a ton of dimension, but I really do think that it helps in cases like this where it's not exactly forced perspective, but we want some space, in between that. I didn't want it all just to be flat up against each other because we have multiple layers there. And if you think about it, there's actually 2 specialty layers and then a die layer. And I love the way that that Orchid Oasis pops against that fall scene in the background. I mean, I really think that this glimmer paper just really helps those scenes really pop, the nature scene. So if you like nature scene cards the way that I do, I think you're going to love this idea. So here, I'm just removing the backing. We're going to go ahead and put this on. Be careful when you're putting this on because the window frame can very easily be manipulated. Now here we have this leaf and amber combo pack. This is also from the mini catalog, July to December. And this is like a craft brown cardstock type. I decided to heat emboss Hello in white on this. So I did the heat embossing first. I'm just kind of, tweaking it, making sure I have those letters fully colored there. I'm going to hit it with the heat tool, and that's going to turn a nice, crisp, bright white. And then I'm going to use the blending brushes to add that Cajun Craze color. Now, unlike when I typically use the blending brushes and I go nice and light with the color, we are going to do full-blown saturation on the edges of this leaf. I really wanted that Hello to almost glow, like almost jump off of the leaf here. So I did full-blown color on every tip of this leaf, including the little stem at the end of the leaf. So it's up to you, how you want to do this, or even if you want to do this. I chose to do the color after the heat emboss. You could do it before, but I wanted to do it after. I did end up getting a little bit of Cajun Craze on my sentiment that was heat embossed, and it kind of gave it like a pinkish look. And I actually liked it. It was like a happy little accident for me. I liked the look of it. But I did find out from my friend Tracy Bish, who is also a demonstrator in Australia, that you can just reheat that and wipe that color right off of there if you don't want that color transference. I was actually adding a little bit of color to it. I just wanted to even it out, but totally up to you. So in the first card, I went off of the edge of my card. And in this card, I wanted to be mindful that the leaf be tucked in and on the card base so that you could very easily fit it into an envelope. sometimes when you're designing cards, you kind of go a little bit more artistic, but it might not fit in, you know, a regular envelope. You would need to use either a larger envelope or put it in like a gift bag or something. But this time I just kind of changed around the scene slightly. I decided not to put the fawn in the scene so that I could really focus on the leaf being in the corner of the card. And you can see the difference between the two. So it's entirely up to you. I did 3 of the amber gems right on the leaf there, but I actually love the way that turned out. I was really happy with it. So let me know in the comments if you're comfortable sharing, if you prefer the orange background or the green. I would love to hear from you, and let me know. If you like crafting tutorials, please subscribe to my channel. I tend to do 2 videos each week, not always, but as much as I can. When you like, comment, or share the videos, that tells YouTube that you like what you're seeing, and it tells me that you like what you're seeing so that I know to make more of videos like this one. So if you want to see more fall card crafting or more autumn themed crafts, let me know. That is always so helpful when I'm hearing from you. And if you aren't already on my email list, consider signing up. That is the first place where I share information, little sneak peeks to my Facebook Lives, new product information, all of that lovely stuff. Any kind of Stampin' Up updates, I will share on my email list. So I have a link to my email list in the description below, and you can go to my blog to shop all of the products that I used on the cards in this video. All right, thank you so much, and stay tuned for the next video.